Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This is a Cebu update. That building there is part of the Mandaue City Convention Center. It was damaged in the earthquake and typhoon in 2013, and this typhoon pretty much took the rest of it out of commission for sure. It hadn't been used. I think they're going to dismantle it at some point in time, build something else there. Going to give you a little bit of look around, talk a little bit about some building decisions that are going to have to be made going forward, because there's some new construction, new buildings with a lot of damage, with glass panes busted out. And this was a bad typhoon, but it wasn't the winds were not as bad as Typhoon Yolanda back in 2013, which was about 300 kilometers per hour. These were closer to 200 kilometers per hour. So you've got Park Mall here. You've got some damage to the building up there. The roof is ripped up a little bit. It looks like some windows are blowing in there. Sometimes a little difficult because of the angle and the reflections you're getting. Up here ahead, the cleanup is going forward. The city, during the best of times, do not have enough crews, garbage crews, for instance, to pick up garbage. In my opinion, my observation, do not have the internet companies, electric companies, more damage to a warehouse there. The trees are pretty much stripped. Many of the trees are stripped of their leaves, and Chunghwa Hospital off to the left. Not sure if they had any damage, but here this container yard right here to the right with the big containers were blown over pretty much. And anyway, the PLDTs, the Visayas, the electric companies do not have enough crew in the best of times. PLD told me they had 3 weeks to move my internet. This was many years ago, to move my internet about 3 blocks, and took them 4 weeks to do that. So even in the good time, they don't have the crews to take care of issues. There's always a backlog. So imagine what it is now under these very crisis type situation after a major typhoon. Many millions of people are still out of electric, out of water, out of basic services, don't have data, unable to communicate with family and friends. I am very fortunate. The condominium that I live in, we got water a couple days ago, went off and on a couple times, but in fact last night went off for a while, but we have it again. And we filled up some containers with tap water for washing. We were able to acquire a couple 5-gallon containers of drinking water. Usually that'll last about 5 days usually. Our electric came on last night. The lights came on, they went off, came on, went off, came on, went off several times. And after waiting in the dark for a while, they came on, they stayed on. So we have that. We have electric, we got the fridge working again. So I'm very fortunate. This area here, the building to the left, I believe that's Ayala's project, the Gatewalk, called Gatewalk, a huge project. They're going to have commercial as well as residential. I think the residential buildings, condominiums and such, and the mall is going to go over here on the right side in this vacant area. And if you look at that building coming up center right, that is Grand Tower. That is a multi-use tower. I think it's hotel plus commercial office space. And as we get closer, depending on how big your screen is, you'll notice a lot of the windows, it appears that the windows have been blown out. Now it's possible they were never there in the first place. This is the dividing line between Mandaue and Cebu City, this river here, river canal. And going from Mandaue, and SM Mall is just up here on the other side. The building to the left there, that is the Bayview hotel, and behind that, the tan-colored one is the Radisson Blue. And somebody sent me a message saying that a friend of theirs was staying there, and they thought they were going to die. Part of the wall blew off, is what they told me. My partner took this video. There's lines waiting to get in, and about 3 days after, on the 20th, about 3 days, more lines, cars trying to get into areas. There were very, very, very long lines trying to get gas. There were people with containers. Here's people lined up. There's certain places where they have access to water, and or a tanker truck will come by from the city, or a private tanker truck, to deliver water. And I'm told that usually that water is drinkable. It has been filtered. Now we have heard from the Metropolitan, whatever it's called, the water company that provides the water in this part of the Philippines, that they could have some issues. They might have to turn it off and on, because they may have issues trying to access water as well, which would create another problem. Then the people who purify the water will be out of water. We would be out of water, tap water and or purified possibly. And you don't know how long. So those are issues to try to plan for, but you just try to conserve as much as you can. Now, this is the bridge going from Mandaue City across over to Mactan Island, Lapu-Lapu City, and there was a number of issues, some damage to the bridge, so they have blocked the 2 lanes. This is the newer bridge, and I'm told that some of these people, they go up on the bridge hoping to get a cellular signal, because wherever they're at, they don't have cell signal yet, and that's spotty. Mine goes from no signal to very slow signal to a pretty good signal where I'm at, and you just don't know what time of day. Now I'm going to try to use my phone. I'm editing this on my computer because I have no electricity. I'm going to try to upload it using my phone's data, because I still, even though we have electricity, we do not have the internet at this point in time. There's a co-working place across the street. They may or may not have internet. I'm going to go over there and check a little bit later. One thing I hope everybody learns from this type of thing, and the experts that were predicting this said they were caught off guard. They didn't expect it to be this bad. And to try to plan ahead a little better, a little more. And the developers, the architects, the construction companies, when they decide, there's a light pole down there, when they decide what building materials to use, how to design these things, this should be a learning experience, because it can be very, very expensive, not only damaging to your reputation if your building doesn't hold up to a storm, but can be very costly to repair those things as well. Well, I'm not sure about the types of insurance that cover this type of thing here. Our building, it was like, I'm up relatively high, up 20 floors, and it was like a 2.5 hour earthquake. My light was swinging, my hanging plants were swinging. There were quite a few people that went down to the lobby, but my opinion was that you're not safe in the lobby. If something goes, it goes, and you're not going to have time to go out. And then where are you going to go? You're going to go stand down the street a block away and hope something doesn't hit you? I'm not sure. I did not hear any creaking. I did not hear any cracking. If I had heard those things, I would have left the building and walked down the stairs. And our elevators still are not working. They've got one utility elevator that's working off and on, I guess. So that may be working at this point in time. It is raining here today, something nobody nobody needed any more rain. There are a lot of holes in roofs and buildings, a lot of water going into there. There was a little bit of attempt to repair a couple buildings near me. I could see down on their roofs yesterday, but most of those big holes in the roofs of buildings are still there. So I appreciate all the well wishes everybody has sent me. A few of you have sent me advice about where I should go, get out of town for a month, and I would consider that. My partner has a job, works many days. They've got their electricity back on, and they've got events going on, so she pretty much has to be there. At some point in time, we'll take a trip, a month or two, or whenever things get settled out. Because of the poor communication, even the news reports that you get are spotty, and you don't know from one block to the other what's happening for sure. It's pretty much word of mouth among the Filipinos, where you can go to get something, water, where you can go to get a cellular signal so you can try to contact your family. I talked to a couple people, one from Bareilles over on the west side of Cebu when I was at an ATM a number of days ago waiting to get money, and somebody from Toledo, which is also on the west side. They came over, they didn't have internet, so their ATMs weren't working. So they came over here to get money, and they came over here to get fuel, and then they found out that the lines were very, very long, people waiting to get fuel, people waiting, long lines to use the ATMs, get into banks. I will put up a video of the night of the storm and some of the things, the way it happened, here perhaps later today or tomorrow. And I know many of you have watched lots of video about the storm and the damages already, but I'll put that up for those who are interested. If I can have enough data and or can find a internet connection here. Anyway, this is the Cebu Business District that Ayala owns and runs. That's where the Ayala Mall is. There again, trees down. The mall itself was closed for a number of days. I'm told they are open now. I'll try to get over there today. But the grocery store was open. Metro grocery store was open, and there were generally long lines to get in there. Anyway, best wishes to you all, you and your families. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.